My name is Wendy Perry, and I am a parental alienation awareness and education advocate. I'm one of the subjects of the documentary Divorce Court, and unfortunately I'm also an alienated parent. I want to welcome you to Parental Alienation Awareness Day. Actually, this is the 11th annual International Parental Alienation Awareness Day. So all around the world, between now and April 25th, there will be many events related to parental alienation awareness and education. For those of you who don't know, parental alienation is when one parent tries to damage or destroy the relationship that a child has with the other parent. You know what really makes me upset? It really makes me upset when people say, "Shame on your daughter. Shame on her for treating her mother that way. She's old enough to know better. She's just rude and disrespectful. Shame on her." No shame on my daughter. My daughter is a wonderful person. She's kind and respectful and compassionate. She's caring. I know her. She is not rude. And she is not disrespectful. And I am not okay with people thinking that or saying that about my daughter. You know who is okay with people thinking badly and talking badly about their children? Alienators. You see, alienators control and manipulate and intimidate and pressure and even bribe their children to not have relationships with the other parent. They bribe them with all kinds of things like clothes and cash and expensive trips and even high-paying jobs. Anything they can. It's not enough for alienators to alienate the child. They're perfectly fine with people thinking that their child is rude and disrespectful, as long as people don't think that about them. They're okay with people thinking badly of their kids, that their kids are rude and disrespectful. I'm not okay with that. My daughter is an awesome person. Like I said, she's loving and kind and caring. And I will always defend her. In fact, I'm just as proud of her and love her just as much as I did 8 years ago, when she would call me several times every single day. That's how close we were, and we never had any issues between us. Alienated children are not rejecting the target parent. They're rejecting the stress and anxiety and utter chaos that the alienating parent causes them when they have a relationship with the target parent.
I trusted the legal system. I was so naive. I thought if I do everything right and I play by the rules, my true colors will show, and so will my opponents, and it'll all work out for everybody's best interest. God did see my heart, but the judge didn't. So we can take as many positive steps to making change. And I think I've seen what happens. I've seen what people write on Facebook and in books, and we could be a real powerhouse. We're smart, and more than that, we're motivated. So
I'm with Fixed Family Courts that Sherry and I run together. And Sherry and I were in a situation where we lived in basically an extended family. Her children and my child were raised together. We were all of us a great big family. And then our exes decided it was time for divorce and they wanted to get divorced. And it shattered everything. And they basically ganged up against us and tried to take our children. So first thing you should know is that when it comes to 50-50, it does not matter that you do not get along, so long as the courts support your orders and enforce those orders. The number one most important thing about parental rights is they do not depend on your marriage. Your parental rights do not come from your marriage at all, no way, no how. I'm not going to allow this state to get away with this or the other 49 states. So what I came up with, and basically woke up in the middle of the night and sat down and wrote 80% of this, is that we're going to do a two-prong attack. Number one, we're explaining what the constitutional rights are. We're articulating them and creating language and argument that attorneys can use, that judges can understand, that parents can use to defend their rights. But we're also proposing a constitutional amendment to the United States Constitution. This also could be slightly reworded for the Texas Constitution, which we're thinking about doing in the next elections. Fifth Federal Circuit has been incredibly good about articulating our rights and supporting our rights and saying that the Texas Family Code absolutely is subject to review by the federal courts. Not only that, they said it was unreasonable for any federal or any state court judge to believe otherwise. So they smacked, in a previous ruling, they smacked the state courts around when they tried to say that the federal Constitution doesn't apply in family law. Now, I've had these arguments in conferences with attorneys who have stood up on a podium and swore to me that the Constitution doesn't apply in family law. Well, I've got two federal appellate courts telling them absolutely the opposite and telling them you're basically unreasonable if you think that. And yet many of these attorneys, many of these judges still believe that all over. And that's why you can't find an attorney that will protect your fundamental rights in family law. They don't believe you have any. They don't believe the Constitution applies because they don't learn anything about the Constitution in law school. They take at most 2 classes, and that's nowhere near enough for them to learn the basics of our law system.
I felt beat up, beat down, depressed, and my entire identity just ripped from me, and I can't even imagine how that made our children feel. What is parental alienation? It's extreme bullying. That includes shame, abuse, humiliation, and brainwashing. It's a tool used by the other parent and the courts to strip a child out of your life. Parents shouldn't feel helpless. They shouldn't fear losing their child in divorce, should they? Children shouldn't ever fear losing one of their parents or being restricted from getting to know a fit parent. I wouldn't have gotten that phone call. Just over a year ago. I wouldn't have gotten a phone call at all from her telling me about this. But since she's been calling me over the past year, we've been talking a lot more. And I found out she got into a severe car accident several years back. Or at least I think it was several years back. I don't know the time frame for sure. I didn't get a call then or even later. Her car was totaled. She could have been killed. I probably wouldn't have been told about that either. But she was hurt. She did end up having to see doctors for a long time after that. I don't know those details either. I never got a call. I remember the day my daughter said, I went to pick up my son, and he was at the townhome that their father had moved them to 45 miles from the neighborhood we raised them in. This was right after that summer where the judge tore apart our 50-50 equal time together. And she said, as she stood outside telling me no, I could not have my son, the police were there, and she was 16 years old, she said, Mom. That's when she still called me Mom. They started using my first name, which is another indicator that you're being alienated. She calls me Mom again now, by the way. All my children do, thank goodness. In divorce, she said, in divorce, Mom, children choose the parent they want to be with. And we choose Dad. Real simple for her, right? To kids, that's logical. Hey, you know, the judge talked to my kids several times behind closed doors in chambers. I have no idea what went on. But they had the idea now. They choose. She was standing in the middle of that strange neighborhood in that strange street, saying these things that I know she could only have learned from the system, because it wasn't things you teach them when you're married, when they're growing up. The courts allowed them, no, actually encouraged them to believe these things. Your rights make it easier for you to get away from the abuse. What will no longer take place in using child custody and possession as a weapon to hurt the other parent or to punish the other parent for perceived harms in the marriage or the divorce? If you are legally considered to be fit parents in marriage, then you are fit parents in divorce.
I'm Kim Dvornik, and I lost my son last June to suicide, directly attributable to parental alienation. I didn't know about narcissism. I didn't know about parental alienation. I knew nothing about this. And I thank the people, and I wish more people understood. So I will be joining these groups more actively. I've had to get to where I can't talk without crying. But Michael wanted people to know, right? He helped us. He did help us. Because I've talked to several judges that said that they can't tie a lot of the behavior sometimes because the divorces were filed so far back. Mine was filed in July of 2010, and as I'm sitting here, all of a sudden, I never understood why the timing of his suicide. And just while I was sitting here listening to this, I realized that we moved to Florida around June 7th, June 8th in 2010. And that's when his world changed. But I will keep that alive for everybody because I know I've had so many parents. You know, I announced my son's suicide on Facebook. I was by myself at the moment I got that call. I didn't know what to do. There were so many people that I needed to talk to and I needed to tell, and I was in New York. And so I went, wow, I am opening myself up to such ridicule and such judgment, and God only knows what else. But it's okay, it's okay. Every day I speak, I live under threat that I'm going to be sued for this or that. Well, that's okay, because this is my story, it's my experience, it's what I've been through, it is what my child went through, it is what my child was subjected to, and it is what my child died for. So yes, I will be here with anybody and everybody in getting this out in the public and doing what we can to help others so that nobody has to do this. And I hope I said something that makes sense, that touches somebody, helps someone, because you guys have really helped me a lot through this, and thank you.
My name is Rod McCall. My son also died. He wasn't old enough to make a lot of decisions on his own. His mom made a lot of those. Like Kim was saying, her marriage started to end in 2010. Well, that's when ours began. And it was tough. And it lasted 18 months of conflict. It was battle. It was war. When Sherry was talking about the battle, sometimes you don't have to go to war to have PTSD. My therapist says, yes, I have some of that. I was working as a janitor cleaning a school, and it's quiet. It was well after hours, and I'm running the vacuum sweeper, and I had my headphones in, and I'm listening to a song. And I'd heard it many times. Maybe you guys are familiar with John Cougar Mellencamp's song, Jack and Diane. And I was singing along, but for some reason that day, the lyrics hit me. And it said, life goes on, long after the thrill of living has gone. And I thought, holy crap. The thrill of living died with my son. Like so many, I had no idea what parental alienation was. Like Kim, yeah, I heard divorce. Same kind of thing. You see it on TV, you see it in movies, but you don't see this. It is such a cruel and devastating issue of parental alienation. And I love that we are here together. I like that we are all pushing in our own ways, in our own methods, a way to teach, to promote, to educate, to defend our rights, so that way other young people, other families, cannot have to go through what we are going through. Because it is, well, it's hell on earth. I miss my son. Like Kim misses hers. Like all of you miss yours. Hey Rod, how do you do it? I says beats the crap out of me. I just get up every day. For a long time I said, well, you know, I know that by me getting up and getting out of bed today, I'm pissing somebody off, and that was good enough for me. But now I want to work with others to inspire, to encourage, to change. And that's what we're here for. So all of you that have come, those that have spoke, Ron, Sherry, Kim, Shelley, thanks, because we are strong when we work together.
So this is amazing that you're here, you're brave, you're courageous, you're wonderful, you're amazing parents and grandparents. So kudos to you for being here, for taking care of yourselves and getting in the fight and staying in the fight to support and to love all of our babies, because that's important in spreading the word. Hope. I miss you, my sweet child. You're a part of me, and you will always be. When you were 3, before this unnatural separation, this madness we call parental alienation, you said, I love you, Mama. My heart screams for you. Mama, you my best one. Better or best, you will always be a part of me, and I will always be a part of you. Nothing can separate our love or our bond. Like Paul said to God, neither death, nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any created thing shall be able to separate us. And nothing will ever keep me from loving you. Thank you.
I'm an alienated grandmother. I love my granddaughter and I miss her a lot. And I want everybody to understand that more awareness we can make about this, the less we'll have to deal with it. The kids are all suffering.
Well, one, because I don't want to see what happened to my children happen to any of the others, and I'm hoping that the message will get out to all of the other parents who are alienating the children that it's not a good thing, that eventually they're going to be stopped. And hopefully that everyone will get educated, like Wendy said, so that everyone understands that it's abuse. It's not, you know, it's just not an okay thing to do. So, if my kids got alienated, I don't want their kids to go through the same.
Well, I'm an alienated father. Been through hell with the courts. I've learned a lot, and I want to try to help other people.
Bubbles of love. Love it. Exciting, fantastic, lots of great awareness for a horrible thing, parental alienation. Together we can make a difference. Join us. Let's bring it in, parental alienation.